everyone. This is your host, Alex Valgood, and you're listening to Leap of Health. Today, we have Erika Briones with us today. She is a self-pleasure shaman, certified spiral practitioner, and she also has a bachelor's degree in child and family development. And today, we will be talking about her signature program, the Sexual Sovereignty. So welcome, Erica. I am so excited. I have a lot of questions. So yes, thank you. Thank you.
I'm excited. Let's start.
Yeah, so let's start a little bit about your story and how do you become a self-pleasure shaman? Because I don't think I don't know any other shaman but you. So tell us a little bit about this. I'm like super intrigued and I think everybody is.
Okay, so I guess what you're asking is the story of my past and what is a self-pleasure shaman. So
Yes.
I'll start backwards. I'll start with like where I am now.
Okay.
Right now I'm excited for my upcoming workshop, Sexual Sovereignty, and guiding women to be their own self-pleasure shaman or becoming their own healer. And I believe that before, actually, I was on another podcast interview before that, and they
Mm-hmm.
were asking me the same thing. What is a self-pleasure shaman? I was initiated into this role by a friend of mine who said, how do you feel about self-pleasure shaman? And I haven't really shared the whole story. So my mom is she cleans for a living. So she's shamanic, right? Like as I feel like when anyone is a shaman, you're cleaning house, you're
Okay.
cleaning entity, or you're cleaning an energy. So I feel like because my mom has that, she is a shamanic in some nature.
Okay.
And then my father, he was all about the Chicano movements. He works with music. So I believe that my dad, he was a music, he's more of the musical wizard, right? So then I created musical shaman. However, my friend said, what about self pleasure shaman instead? How does that feel for you? And so at the time there was a sense of contraction because I had a identity around what a shaman is.
Right.
I follow one of my favorite shamans is Shaman Durek. He wrote the book called Spirit Hacking. And I thought, I'm not ready to be a shaman because XYZ. I feel like I need to do all this plant medicine, all this studying. However, that's how we end up taking ourselves out of pleasure, right? The language that we speak, the stories that we tell ourselves. So by me living into the fear of I can't be a shaman, I can't wear that costume. That's me living in the lane or the state of fear,
Mm-hmm.
right? Part of sovereignty, and that is the definition that I'm learning. Sovereignty is a state, right? Not like a country, but it's actually a state of mind. And when I started exploring language patterns, when I started exploring holistic work, I realized that I do heal. I am all of it. I am a coach. I am a healer. I am a shaman. And it comes down to believing for me. So, anyways, long story short, I eventually reclaim the name, the title shaman. And we all have roles. We all have an archetypal story. We all have archetypes, right? There's woman, that's an archetype, mother, dancer, daughter. There's so many archetypes. So when we get a role, and for me, that was shaman, or self pleasure shaman, I had a whole identity around it. And eventually, the moment that changed was when I got the book Sex Shaman. I read this book by Kamala Devi. And when I started reading the first paragraph or the first page, I said to myself, this is me. I am a self pleasure shaman. Not like I am a self-pleasure shaman. I am a self-pleasure shaman because there is a frequency that I have accepted. And as I work with pleasure, I also work with the nervous system. You know, part of this healing journey is to work with the nervous system. And the nervous system
Yes.
is about the stories that we make up. So for me, pleasure is about, you can have sex all you want. You can touch your pussy, you can, you know, be orgasmic and not be in the state of pleasure because you're in your head. You can be automatically in those states of mind. However, if you're thinking, oh, I'm not worthy, then you're not really in a whole or healed state of mind. You're not really in a sovereign state of mind or pleasurable state of mind. To be pleasure is you're really tapping into your senses, you're taking a deep breath, you're noticing your environment around you,
Mhm.
and and you feel complete. There's no like stories about who you used to be. There, you just are in the state of is, and that is the state of pleasure, is when you're in the state of is, the state of now.
Mhm.
And so that's just who I am now. Like, I work with people virtually online, I create digital content, I write blogs, I'm always creating, I'm always in the state of pleasure, I'm always talking about sex. So I'm living my life. I am a self pleasure shaman because I love it. I wake up every day thinking, what am I going to create today? So that's the story of where I'm now. That's me now. So now for the real story, and I will be quick because maybe there might be other questions. So I was in the sex industry for 9 years, and it was interesting because I was dancing salsa around that time. And I had this idea that I can never tell my friends, I can never tell anyone because of religion, right? Because we're told these stories from specific dogmatic ideas, like
Right.
if you have sex before marriage, you will go to hell. Or if you read the, there's certain scriptures that teach us or brainwash us to think that if you do this, then you will go to hell, right? We will think that um, we're gonna be with the devil, or I'm bad, I'm naughty. And so I had this whole idea that if I tell my story of being in the sex industry, there's no way that I will be accepted by anyone or even have a healthy relationship with a partner.
Mhm.
And again, I'm actually with an amazing partner as of now.
Yeah.
um but yes, I did everything from escorting for 3 months, tantra work, BDSM, like I did bondage, I did full body sensual massage, I did everything except webcam. I did not strip, I did not do any porn, but I did so many different risky activities that even though it was pleasurable, I was playing a role. And in that role, in that identity, I was very mixed up in my head. I had no idea of who I was as a woman. I had no idea who I was as a daughter, as a dancer. And the thing is, my body could feel the intensity. And I don't know if, in the audience, I don't know who in your audience dances, but if you dance salsa, there's a terminology of like, oh, she's a light dancer or she's a really heavy dancer.
Right.
And so for me, when I would be dancing with a partner, and he would, get me into these combinations or spinning, I would get a feedback of, oh, you feel really heavy right now. Are you okay?
Wow.
And
Okay.
then I was like, I guess I'm not okay, but I didn't really accept it. I was like, oh, well, they're just mean and they're just telling me how I, need to get light. So I would try spin classes or would try all this crazy stuff, right? I would be like, I want to be a faster dancer. I want to spin faster. I want to be light, right? And I would do everything to be light, but it turned out it had nothing to do with the technique of the dance. It had all to do with my mind,
Yeah.
right?
And if I can put like a little parenthesis of in this, just to explain really quick for whoever it's out there and don't know what we're really talking about. When you do any type of partner dancing, sometimes we have this terminology of like you either are super light as a feather, even though you could be like 300 pounds, right? Or I don't know, 100 pounds, or you could be a super heavy dancer, whether you're 100 pounds or 500 pounds, whatever that is. So it really, that is, we're not talking about an actual physical weight that someone else can tell that to us. It's more of how you're connecting with the other person that makes them feel either they're dragging you or they're actually moving with you. So I just wanted to explain that real quick. Go ahead.
Thank you for
Yes.
educating the viewers or the audience,
Yes. Yes.
because it is a metaphor. And the
Right.
interesting thing
Yes.
is, part of the work that I do is I muscle test, right? I muscle
Yes.
test
Yes.
into like, where are they feeling? Are they feeling light? Are they feeling heavy? And so anyways, when I was living into that lifestyle, of course I was heavy. I mean, there would be days that I would be light, but it was like very rare. And it was because I was overthinking so much. And here's the thing is like you and I, we both like to spin, right? We
Right.
both know how that feels, how pleasurable it feels when you spin.
Right.
When you're like going and going. And just to explain to the audience, like spinning is not like a ballerina. There's different types of spinning. Like the ballet spins are different from uh what do you call it, the ones that beatbox, not beatbox. That's a whole different industry. um
Yeah, I guess the spins that we do, because they're partner driven by, I guess. So we connect in such a different way as couples and as a part, follower and leader. That is this whole different energy of being spun away, I guess. And so yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yes, so the reason I mentioned that is in the chakra system.
Mm-hmm.
Chakra actually means it's a Sanskrit word for wheel or disc. So
Yes,
the
yes.
interest, the metaphor is, there would be moments that I could not spin, or that was like something I told myself is, I can't spin, right? So there's something broken
Uh,
within me. There must be something broken within me, so I need to fix it. And that's what we do in society is, you're broken, here's a pill, right? Oh, you feel not good enough, here is a drug, or hey, take this to fix it, right? And for me, I felt broken because if I can't do this thing, then there's something wrong with me, right? So
okay.
that's what we think to ourselves as, oh, this is a block, or I'm blocked. That's the language pattern that we tell ourselves is, if I'm telling myself I'm blocked, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to tell myself that I'm blocked,
You are blind. Yes.
right?
Yeah,
And that's the
exactly.
thing is, people overuse it to the point where you actually create that. You actually end up being blocked, or you end up not spinning or not receiving orgasm. So the reason that I mention it is, we create language patterns
Mm-hmm.
to get us to a certain result. And so the same thing happens with everything, not just dancing. It's also creativity, sexuality, orgasm, money. If you tell yourself, I can't, then you're basically in that realm of I can't. And I'm teaching this to myself. I'm literally telling this to myself before my workshop, because I will be honest, yesterday I had a whole mind narrative that, oh, woe is me, no one's coming to my workshop, right? And I was in a state of self-defeatist. I'm not going to say victim, because I personally like orphan as an archetype. An orphan is like, I'm abandoned, no one's coming to, no one likes me, right? We actually live in the archetype of orphan. So that's one of the things I'm preaching at this workshop is instead of saying we're living into the victim mentality, we're actually in the wounded version of ourselves, the one that was abandoned or mistreated by our parents. And there's so many archetypal stories about this. And so, yes, when I was living that double life, I felt I was creating the story that if I tell my truth, I'm going to be abandoned. I will not be lovable. I will not belong. And the interesting thing is, I didn't believe that I was hearing that because in my mind, it was normal. It was, I had no idea that I had trauma. I had no idea that I was in pain because when you're in the industry, maybe no one has been in the sex industry, but you make a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And it's a lot of fast money. What people don't know is that there's an energy that's tied to secrecy. There's an energy that's tied to like, I'm just not going to say anything. And when you don't say anything, you're going to feel it in your lungs, the metal element. You're literally going to feel it in your lungs. And I have moments where I have like a very persistent cough and people will recognize me by my cough because it was that persistent. Because I was having so much anxiety, it showed up in my cough, in my writing, my creativity. It showed up in so many different areas that it also showed up in my sexuality. Like I didn't want a pleasure, or if I did, it was with a vibrator, or if I was with a partner, I was disengaged, disconnected, I was not present. So the more that I started being honest with myself, coming out to people, I said, whoa, I feel light. I actually feel light. I don't need to dance to prove to others. I have to prove to myself.
Mhm.
And when you start to live in the place of sovereignty or the state of sexual sovereignty, you don't have to prove anything to anyone, because you already know that if you do share your truth about your sexuality, or maybe you're coming out as a gay guy or a lesbian woman, that's something that no one can take away from you. And whilst there's people out there that are going to be haters,
Yeah.
the biggest lesson is to not give a fuck. And that was my
Yeah.
lesson, is I cared so much that I literally paid my friends to just be my friend. I'm like, hey, here's some money. I feel like, I didn't say that I felt bad. I think I was doing it because I needed approval. So I'm like, hey, let me take care of you. Here's some money. Let me take care of you. But deep down, I was actually not happy with who I was.
Yeah. Yeah. I think whether is I think we do that a lot, and not just with sex, but just like in everything. Um, we feel like that we cannot speak our truth, whether it's coming out as gay or whatever it is that you're feeling like you need to hide from others, and stopping yourself to uh, feel free and feel better. And the bottom line is what you said. 100% of the time, nobody also cares. I think it's more the narrative and what we're telling ourselves about whatever it is that's happening, that we always feel like we're going to be criticized or hate or not like or whatever it is. But I think I think we will have a better reactions from everybody else than what we think from ourselves. We're always thinking the worst is going to happen. And then here you have someone saying whatever, maybe like they're self-harming or something like that. And you'll be surprised how many people cares and how many people will actually either help you or don't care. But I mean, the main thing is like do for yourself. Do what makes you feel good, and yeah, just don't be, don't give a crap about what anybody says. Bottom line, this is super awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about how is it that you are coaching people or helping people through you being a shaman?
So that's a good question. So it's interesting because I was having this conversation, or actually, I was listening to this conversation with some of the people I admire. So I'm part of this community called The Spiral, the School of Awakening. It was created by Dane Thomas around 2008 in Australia. And he created a book called Clear Your Shit. And I know it's a funny title, Clear Your Shit.
Great, great.
Anyways, he created so many practitioners, and eventually he sold the school. It was going to be like, okay, it's done. We're not going to have any more practitioners. Um, but anyway, someone just recently bought the school. His name is Peter, and at this conversation that I had last night, they were talking about roles, right? Like we're talking about archetypes, identity. And it was really interesting because the question was, so what are you? Are you a coach? Are you a healer? Like, are you a trauma therapist? And they say, I'm all of it. And it was interesting to hear because there was a part of me that didn't like the word coach or didn't like certain roles. I didn't want to be put in a label. However, when I accepted that I'm all of it and I'm none of it, that's when I realized that I am a self-pleasure shaman, because I am a shaman. I'm also an artist. I'm also a coach. I'm also a practitioner. I do it all. And to become a self-pleasure shaman is a state of mind. It's a state of mind of belief, of faith, of this is who I am. And so there's that piece. And so how do I guide people? Is that what you're asking? Is how
Yes.
do I guide people?
Mm-hmm.
Well, before I share about like how I guide, I believe that people don't come to you for what you do. Like you can be a doctor, you can be a priest, you can be a shaman, you can be a singer, a sound, you can be anything, but people don't come to you because of your Instagram brand and the colors or how you look like. They come because there's an essence, there's an energetic signature that you have that's completely distinct from everyone else. Maybe you are a coach who loves to sing and you love to sing to your clients. And for some reason, people are like, oh my God, I just want you to sing to me because that's what my soul needs. Maybe that's what makes you stand out apart. So I could tell you I do this, this, and this. You're not coming to me because I'm like a self-pleasure shaman, whatever that means to you. It's because there's an energy resonance that is like, I feel like she's real. I can relate to her story. I feel like she might get me that no one else can. I feel like I could probably go to her and talk about this situation because other people won't understand that. So that's just something that I'm learning to accept, that it's not about the role or the archetype. It's about the essence. It's about the essence that you're stepping into. Like, who are you being? Like I can be a self-pleasure shaman and feel like shit one day, and I can guide people and be irresponsible if I choose that. But I could also have a day where I'll tell my client, I'm not ready to work with you because I'm not in that energetic alignment. And that would be something that causes people to trust me. So for me, the most important ingredient that I teach my clients is trust. So I can tell you, like, yeah, I work with the I Ching and emotion, and I will get into emotional clearing work. Because it's so different. It's not like Reiki, it's not like anything, it's its own like entity. I think the most important thing that I want clients to get is it's not about the tools that you get. It's not about like the healing or process that you get. It's about you knowing what is not serving you. And and making clear decisions, making clear choices in your life. You can go to a psychic, right? You can go to a psychic and she can pull like the hermit card and the lover's card and the tower card, and you're like, I'm never going outside, right? Then you decide in that moment that you're not going outside because the tarot card reader said that. And that, again, that's your choice. That's your story that you're choosing. Um, and so if you're making those decisions because maybe one healer is saying, hey, um, maybe a psychic is saying, hey, you're never going to find love. So you start living your life through the eyes of, I'm not lovable, I will never get love, then that's your choice. But you know, you can always change your story. You can always change your future. You are the author of your life. You are literally speaking what you want. And so I believe that we're all given different mirrors, right? Whether a self-pleasure shaman, a tarot card reading, a podcast, a book, everything is leads to a pathway, right? And that pathway leads to something else and something else. Um, and so for me, I'm a guide. I guide people to really look at what's the hidden blind spot that you're not seeing. If you're in a relationship where you really want better sex, but the truth is you need to get out of this relationship. It's not really about the orgasm. In some cases, I have to tell them this information, or sometimes I will give them these ideas that they're seeing for themselves, but it's up to them to decide what they're going to do with that information. So, what coaches and healers don't have, we have maps and frames to really look at where their life is at. So, yes, we use the chart of emotions, spiral dynamics, chakra system. We work with various maps that is basically like the map to how to actually live your life. But again, at the end of the day, I can be doing all the energy work and all the mysticism and, you know, chanting and really getting them into a high state. However, if they want to maintain it, it's up to them to choose what's next for them. Like, if you want to drink alcohol, that's your choice. You know the consequences. I know, because I had tequila yesterday. I know the consequences. But again, it's really about what feels true to you. And if you're going to actually want the change. Some people start wanting to have self pleasure, but it's not really self pleasure that they're needing. What they actually need is to be honest about, you know, their porn addiction, or they have to, or what they actually need is to be told like, hey, I think you're in an abusive relationship and I'm going to hold you high. And they sometimes, when people hear that, they want to stop. They're like, nope, but I thought this was going to be easy, and I just want the pleasure now. I want the orgasm now. That's not how transformation works. Like, my job is not to make you happy. My job is to hold the mirror up to you. And again, when you work with the nervous system, like, I feel like when you work in sexuality, it's working with the nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system is basically like the stress, the fight or flight response. And most people, when they're having sex, are coming from the sympathetic, which is the masculine. And then the parasympathetic nervous system is the feminine. It's like the ease, the flow. Like, I feel when I cry the most, I have the most orgasms, I have the most pleasure, I have the most insights, because I have released that charge in my body. Then I'm going to feel light. And so, yeah, some people might not feel emotional, and that's okay. Some people might just need to yell, or they need to make sound. And that's what shamanic is. Like, when you're working with like the elements of like all the frequencies, you're working with anger, working with fear, working with shame, pleasure, um, different states of energy. And so, as I work with the different states of energy, I'm guiding people to really look at what emotion are they resisting. So I pretty much guide people through like really looking at where are they just blindsided by their worldview, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think also if people will hear self-pleasure shaman, will go right away for like, oh, this is like a sex thing, this is like a sexual thing. But I think what you're doing for all these people, yeah, that you're helping is more than that. Is actually guide them through finding what they're needing or what they're missing or what they're um, hiding, to the actual, to find themselves, to get uh, the true pleasure of things, in this case, sexually.
Yes. And I mean, that's the thing, is when people allow themselves to do this work, they will resist it. They will not want to do it. And then at the end, they're like, oh my God, I just had an orgasm. Or like, I can't wait to tell you that I just had the best sex of my life. And it was like, oh, I just, yummy. Like I know that because I live that. Like if I don't live it, they will feel it. And it starts with being honest. But that's the part where they get to choose, like, coming out of the closet, whether sexuality or, hey, I don't want this job. It doesn't have to be like
Yeah.
I'm coming out of the sexual closet. It's literally about speaking your truth and living that truth. And if you are a mom that wants to be a stay-at-home wife, do it. If you want to create TikTok videos, do it. I just created a post because someone was telling me what to do in my business, and the old version of me would say, oh, like they want this and I need to look sexy and I need to do certain videos because some people are not happy, right? That's something that's been coming up for me, until I said, no, I get to choose what my business looks like. I can do whatever I want. That's freedom. I can do whatever I want. I'm working from home. If I want to have a self pleasure time or touch my body after this call, I get to choose that.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so, one of the things I'm learning is boundaries, like learning what is my boundary. Because if you are okay with, you know, pleasure, are you okay with pain? Part of like self pleasure is also making love with the pain, making love with the parts of your emotion that are hidden. Maybe there's a part of you that does not like anger. And so if you're like, I don't like anger, I'm not going to touch it. That's what we explore. That's what I get to explore with people. It's like, there's parts of our emotions that we push away. But the thing is, when we push away those emotions, they create diseases. They literally create diseases. And I was watching The Wisdom of Trauma with
Mm-hmm.
Gabriel
Yeah.
Mate. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you've seen it, but I
I saw
highly
it.
recommend that you
Yeah,
watch it.
it is
I'm
great.
not going to give too much away, but that had a scene with a guy who was angry and he had cancer. And I believe that once he released it, that
Mm-hmm.
there was an opening. So when you're able to explore different pockets of emotions, um, you start to become more pleasurable, not just with sex, with everything, like with breathing, with talking. Like I'm having so much fun talking because I've done so much healing that I don't, I might mess this up. I might stutter. I might get it wrong. I might not say the right thing. And that's okay. And that is pleasure. When you are in the state of, I'm okay if I mess it up. I'm okay if, I don't know what to say. That's fine. If the same thing happens with everything, dancing, sex, money, business.
Yeah, I think having that understanding really takes you to the next level. And I know you're gonna be doing your program, Sexual Sovereignty. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Yes, I'm so excited that you asked because I was really in my head, right? Wanting to get it perfect, trying to plan it because I'm a Capricorn and I'm a seeker. So I'm living into this like nerdiness, needing everything to be perfect. And then I got this message earlier that my job is to not know anything. My job is to let go of all the knowledge I know, all the information, and just surrender to source, to surrender to God. That's just something I wanted to say, but basically I'm going to guide people through some discussion, some experiences, some embodiment work. There's just so many ideas for us to like, we can talk about the workshop or the details, but yes, we're going to talk about some things that you can do if you're in your head around sex. I'm going to share like some case studies about my program. So I will be talking about the actual sexual sovereignty, which is so amazing. It's I guide people through 8 modules of how to be their own guide. So they're going to learn a one-of-a-kind revolutionary tool to guide themselves, which it's a EFT. It's a modified EFT version. So if you've done tapping,
Yes.
it's that, but it's so weird and awkward and unorthodox that it's nothing like you have ever seen. That's why I had to create a whole program for it. And my clients, they use it for everything. Here's the interesting thing is when you learn this technique, which is like 5 steps, and I'll just share it right now. The first step is writing your movie script, writing your movie scene. The second step is find your soundtrack. The third one is dueling the main character in the mirror. The fourth one is the battle scene, and the last one is the climax. So those are some of the stuff that we do in the course, which is basically like really learning how to set up the stage for you to heal yourself.
Okay.
And most people, when they first start, they're like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this thing. That's why I have to show up and give and just share, like, this is how I do it. This is how I deal with pain, because it's easy to numb. It's easy to check out or go on Netflix or avoid things. But when you confront it, there's a sense of ease in your body. There is pleasure in your body when you confront that thing.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think we all need a little bit more inner work. There's never enough inner work that we could do. It's this life that we get, it's a learning lesson, and every day it's something for us to choose to make it better or worse, or to make a change. So this program sounds amazing. Hopefully everybody can join you. If not this time, maybe in a later time for sure. Dude, this yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say for women, it's sexual sovereignty. I really recommend that because I do get a lot of men who are like, oh, can you work with me? And the best program I recommend is Emergence, which is me guiding people through the spiral. And the spiral is like so amazing. If anything, read Clear Your Shit, get the book Clear Your Shit. I think it might be free later, but go to the spiral website. And then there will be that resource to get the book Clear Your Shit. So that's me just shamelessly unplugging this book. It's changed my life. You literally are going to learn all the things that I'm basically teaching. So it's out there, like if you want to save money, get the book Clear Your Shit. I'm actually going to be working on a book, which I never expected it. But yeah, I'm just excited for all the things that are going to come in full fruition.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm just excited for all the connections, being here on your podcast, being creative. Like, creativity is a currency.
Yes, definitely. I love this. I can't wait to read your book, to see you on your program that you're going to be doing tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll probably be joining you on that. All this information is great. And I love.
Also, I wanted to just be clear. So the book that I mentioned, The Clear Shit, is actually by Dane Thomas.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And I am planning to write a book, but right now it's in blog form. So if you go to my Facebook, you can read all my blogs. It's like I'm at 11 blogs. It's called the Sacred Prostitute Chronicles. So these are basically the rough draft of my book. So if you want easy access, find me on Instagram or go to erikabriones.com where you can find all the blogs. But basically, you're already reading part of the book.
That's amazing. Yeah, I read part of it and I loved it. Thank you for actually sharing your story. And is there anything else that you would like to add to our conversation today?
Well, I think my invitation or my pearl of wisdom is to allow yourself to be with yourself. And when I say that is allow yourself to get naked, take off your clothes, be in front of a mirror, and allow yourself to make love to that part of yourself that feels insecure. So if there's a part of you that's feeling like, I feel like a bad mom, or if you're thinking, I'm a slut, or there's a part of you that's thinking, I will never be good at money, make love to that archetype, make love to that part of yourself that's feeling not enough, that's feeling unlovable, and talk to her. Maybe before you touch yourself or explore your body, just allow yourself to feel, what does she need? What does he need? What conversations do you need to have? And, once you have that conversation, really be with yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and surrender.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I basically just
I love
shared I just basically just shared what
just give
sexual
us
sovereignty is.
all the good nuggets.
Like
Yes.
I basically just shared module 5 with you.
Yeah, no, I love it. No, thank you, thank you. And if anyone wants to look you up or send you a message, where can they find you?
They can go on the website erikabriones.com, which is two A's, ErikaBriones, B as in boy. Or they can find me on Facebook or Instagram under Erika Briones.
That's
So
awesome.
it's pretty easy.
Yes, yes. I will also put all the notes on the show. So if you need to find her, you could definitely do that. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. If you need to look me up, you can always find me at alexvalgood.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and speaker as Alex Valgood. Thank you, everyone, for showing up today, and have a blessed day.